Welcome back, sporting fans, to another spectacular episode of the Paint the Wall podcast. I, as always, am your host, Steve, and I am joined this week by a man who states that he invented September, but you all know him as the lovable Logan.
Yeah, I mean, listen, where would we be without September? Obviously, it's one of the best months out there. The weather's spectacular. There's just the whole naming structure issue that's a whole problem, but that's something to do with Julius Augustus getting stabbed and Sept, Ock. It's a whole thing. So anyway, but yeah, September. You're welcome, everybody.
Good for you.
Thanks.
What a cool thing to invent.
Yeah,
allegedly, I guess.
I don't appreciate the word choice, but that's fine.
I guess it's just a hard thing to prove.
Right? Maybe how could you prove it?
Right. Well, everybody, welcome in. I know this is actually our second episode of Season 2 here, but It is a first for us.
It is.
Because this is our first official episode that is being recorded and put up on YouTube because we wanted to be extra. Why not?
Yeah.
Also, I'm just now remembering that it is entirely possible that we never announced that we were going to do this season. I don't remember if we did.
So here's the thing. I know we didn't announce it because I found out we were doing this whenever you sent me a link and said, hey, we're testing this real quick.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's true. We talked about it at the end of last season behind closed doors. We had talked about maybe doing some videos and stuff. Or maybe we talked about live streams. I don't remember what we talked about.
Yeah. No, I'm fairly confident you didn't tell me before I found out last week when we were testing this, but that's okay.
Well, either way, it's a new thing that we're going to do. So welcome to it. If you're listening to this as you have our previous episodes and everything, you can head over to our YouTube page and find the live video of this. How exciting.
I'm thrilled. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, it'll be fun. You can see our ugly mugs. Yeah. We thought it'd be fun because there's a lot of making faces at each other when we say stuff that you don't get to see.
Right.
That I think will be fun. And we'll be kicked off here pretty shortly when we get to our jersey rankings. I have a feeling.
I have a feeling as well. And also, I'm gonna say if we forget that we're being recorded, sorry. I'm not used to this whole recording video thing, so it's very likely that I will just go off into la la land and forget that I'm being recorded. So
100%. And I might edit some of that stuff out. I might not.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who cares? I sure don't.
Who knows?
Awesome. Well, let's dive into this new season coming up.
Let's do it.
The first thing that I want to talk about, if you don't mind if I take the stage first.
Please do.
The first thing that I want to talk about is that the Chiefs are back-to-back Super Bowl champs. We can't have a Kansas City-based podcast without at least mentioning that we won back-to-back.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. However, slight caveat, was kind of ruined at the rally parade with the shooting, so I mostly wanted to bring it up so that we could mention that. Our thoughts are with those families. I did see yesterday morning that all of the children are being released and will make full recovery from Children's Mercy. That's cool.
Absolutely.
Sad moment. I just kind of felt like those are two things that it'd be hard not to mention in a Kansas City-based podcast.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
One being super cool for most of us, not Logan, but the other one being not cool for anybody. So kind of a horrific end to our fun time for that week, but now we just need to go win another one so we can make it better.
Yeah, well, we'll win one this December. How about that?
Yeah, exactly. That'd be nice.
That'd be fun. I'd actually finally get to go to a parade.
Yeah, true. You didn't go to the Royals one with me?
No,
that was my brother. I couldn't remember. I knew I went with somebody, but I couldn't remember who. That was my brother.
Yeah. You got to remember, I am one of the worst Kansas City residents because I support exactly one Kansas City-based team.
Well, two. We support the Current, of course.
Of course, we do support the Current. And I mean, I like the Mavericks.
Yeah, that's a Kansas City team,
And the Comets are cool.
We should have gone to more / any Comet matches. Well,
I am quite annoyed that neither one of us went. So
yeah, I don't know why. I just never thought of it.
Well, you'll just have to move back.
Okay, I'm convinced. All right. Do you got any opening comments you want to mention about anything not sporting related? We will get into sporting later. Anything around the league that you want to mention before we just dive into our jerseys?
No, I don't. I'm good.
I don't really have anything either. The only thing I was really going to mention that I really thought was cool from the offseason is Hugo Lloris getting signed by LAFC. It's just cool to have I guess 2 World Cup winners now in MLS. Mm-hmm. Something I never thought would happen, even having one, let alone 2.
Uh-huh. No, I agree, 100%.
Although now I'm starting to wonder, any of the other people that Miami just signed, Busquets, Jordi Alba, do any of them have World Cup wins?
I don't know, but you'd have to think that there's more World Cup winners.
I just want, because Busquets is Spanish, right? Isn't he?
Yes.
So there's a chance they won one not that long ago.
Let's see. All 16 World Cup winners who played in MLS. Here we go.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, this is actually the opposite question. FIFA World Cup trophy has been lifted by a select group of players, 16 of whom have Major League Soccer experience on their resume. That does not mean they're currently playing in the MLS.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't appear that there is anybody else who is currently playing.
Duh.
Thiago Almada, yes.
So there's 3 at least.
It's a lot of scrolling. We're going to get there. Busquets.
Busquets did have?
In the 2010 World Cup.
Okay.
So, we got Diego Almada, Lionel Messi, Busquets, Hugo Lloris, and that's it.
Current MLS.
Current MLS players, yeah. There's 16
If we're
in
missing
total.
anyone, PTW_pod on Twitter. Let us know. That'd be great. Also, I've decided for the rest of the season, I'm not calling it X. I'm just going to call it Twitter.
Thank you.
I don't care.
Appreciate it.
I'm grandfathered in because I'm so old. So I'm just going to stick with.
That's valid. Yeah,
I just don't care.
It's Twitter. I don't care either.
All right. Well, let's talk about jerseys. It's honestly one of my favorite things that happens every year when all the teams put out their new kits.
Yeah.
We wanted to do a top 5 and a bottom 5, of course.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to do first?
I think we got to do bottom 5 first.
Okay.
And let's do it this way.
Okay.
Here's what I'm proposing.
Yeah.
We do 5 to 1. We each go back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
5 being the best of the bottom 5, 1 being the absolute worst.
100%.
Perfect.
And you want to go back and forth? You don't want to do full list?
Yeah, let's go back and forth. It's more fun.
Perfect.
Okay.
Go ahead. Oh, yeah, we're on video. We can do this now.
Damn it. Okay, that was terrible. Let's not do that again.
Okay.
This delay made that much worse than I thought it would be.
Yeah, right.
All right, you're going first.
All right. My number 5 is Colorado.
Oh.
If I'm being totally honest.
Oh.
This is kind of a weird one to be in the bottom 5 for me.
It is.
Because if I'm being totally honest, I actually kind of like it. But the reason it's in the bottom 5 for me is because A, I don't get it at all. I don't get what they're doing. I don't know, unless maybe it's like the elevation change, if that's what it's supposed to be.
Maybe.
But yeah, I don't like it that much. Also, I just think they could have done cooler. And I didn't like the Seattle one that had like the concave, like the weird concave.
The concave, yeah.
This
I remember
also
that.
is kind of a trick of the eye. And
it is.
I don't know. So that got number 5 for me.
Interesting. That is very interesting for me.
Even though I do kind of like it. Like, it looks okay, but I don't know. I just don't get it, I think.
A lot of people like it.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. Well, my number 5. The theme you'll notice with my bottom 5 is I went with boring. Because, anyway, I'll get into more reasons later.
Sure.
My number 5 is Nashville. White kit with a blue stripe, yellow kit with a blue stripe, and that is it.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's 100% fair. That's
could have done so much better.
Yeah. That was my honorable mention. So
sure. Okay.
I agree 100%.
Got it. Go for it.
Now we're going to get into the same kind of thing you said. The rest of mine are pretty much just boring.
Okay.
My number 4, Inter Miami.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
just kind of boring. Last
Yeah.
year they came out with the black with pink stripes, and I was like, that's
Right.
cool. Apparently, inverting the colors makes it not good. Go
It
go with
was-
black.
Yeah. No, agreed 100%.
Yeah, that one I didn't like the all pink. I understand why they couldn't do like a bright pink because that's what St. Louis does, even though they call it red because they're
Yeah.
dumb.
Right.
But yeah, the I don't like the light pink, and it's just a boring jersey. There's just nothing going on. So
Agreed. Okay.
Inter Miami's my number 4.
Okay. My number 4 is Chicago Fire. Just a plain red kit, the white with the logo. I know, like it's kind of like a callback jersey, I think it is, but to me, it's just real boring. I don't think there's anything special about it. So that's my 4.
Interesting. I kind of liked that one. Not enough that it made my top 5 or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I didn't hate that one.
Okay.
I'm trying to bring it up again here. Yeah, it's like all red with the white across the center.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad. I don't like Carvana as a logo. That's kind of, it's kind of lame, but
Yeah.
whatever. Take your. I don't factor in the sponsor. I try not to because
I do agree because at the end of the day,
it's just whoever pays the money. You
at the end of the day, you got to take the money you get. So
with one exception, the one that I've never understood, which is this is going to come back to bite me later when we get to our top ones. But the one I've never understood is the Target from Minnesota. I get that Target is their sponsor, but why would you use the Target in the middle of your chest? It just like use the dog. The dog would be so much cooler, or the word Target.
They probably don't have a choice in that. Like that's probably
that's
Target
probably
making
true.
that decision.
That is probably true, but I don't know. I just think it's. I just think it's weird that they use the Target of all of the logos Target has. I think the dog would be cooler, or just the word Target would be a lot cooler. But
maybe,
you know,
yeah, they did literally paint a Target on their chest.
yeah, and that just I'm like nobody thought of that, but
yeah,
who knows? Anyway,
knows?
okay. So my number 3, yeah,
Yep.
my number 3 is the San Jose Earthquakes.
Okay.
And while I do like the old school logo they put on the chest, old school like Quakes thing that they put, that's pretty cool. Everything else is just kind of boring.
That's fair. Yeah.
There's just not a lot. They put the stripes on the side, the red and black, and then I know what I literally just said about the sponsors. But in this case, the sponsor's logo also just has stripes in it.
Yeah, it does.
So, like, the stripes in that logo kind of mesh with the, I don't know. I don't like
get
this
that
one very much. I just think
That's
it's kind of
fair.
boring.
Yeah.
It is Adidas, which I do like, but actually, I think all of these are Adidas, aren't they?
Yeah. Adidas is the kit maker.
Oh, good.
That's why they all have the 3 stripes on the corner or on the shoulders.
Oh, just like this one, like they did.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Except now they all have them running vertical like that.
Vertical. Okay.
Yeah. Or
That's kinda cool, I guess.
the opposite. Yeah.
Last year were they Nike jerseys, or have they always been?
No,
Adidas?
they've been Adidas for a few years now.
Oh,
I can't remember when they
were
switched to
Nike last
Adidas.
year. I don't know because I'm wrong.
Probably.
All right, your number 3.
My number 3. You're gonna hate me for this. It's Minnesota.
All right.
I think Minnesota's kit looks terrible.
That is fascinating.
I think it looks awful. Like it literally looks like somebody's art project from 3rd grade where they were playing in Photoshop and they airbrushed some blue on it, and I don't get it. And I know you said it's got some Northern Lights element to it, but like it doesn't look like Northern Lights. I just don't get it. And I know I'm in the minority when I say this, but I hate it. I think it looks ugly.
Fair enough.
So
we'll come back to that one.
okay.
I have a feeling. All right. My number 2 goes to Toronto FC.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. It's pretty bad.
This jersey looks like one of those like warm-up jerseys that you buy at Walmart for your team.
Yeah,
That like the Walmart brand Gildan, I think is or I guess that's the T-shirt, but
yeah,
you know what? That's the one that you walk into Walmart and you're like, oh, cool, they got Toronto stuff, and and it's $14, and it's the same dry fit material, so it's kind of like a jersey.
So the only thing I do want to point out, because I didn't notice this until I looked at it really closely.
Okay.
Did you see that it has in the white, it has a slightly off-color white of the shape of their crest, kind of peppered throughout?
Oh, I do now.
Now, that being said, we're going to be talking about Toronto again in a second, so if that tells you how I feel about things.
Okay.
But that does make it a little better. It's not just solid whites.
Okay. You're right. That is a little better, and that helps me with putting it at number 2.
Okay, good deal. All right.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead. Who's your second worst?
My second worst is Miami. Exact same reasons you mentioned. It's boring. They have a really cool concept, and they just didn't execute. The only redeeming thing is the Royal Caribbean logo and then the logo right above it. But even then, it's still kind of a strange look. I'm not a fan. So
Royal Caribbean, that's what that is. I couldn't figure out what it was. I will say the only thing I liked about the Miami one and some of these other ones is that they put their logo in the middle.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
There are a couple teams that did it, and I don't know how I feel about it. I can't decide.
I like it depending on the jersey, of course.
Right.
But cool. All right.
Cool.
Well, my number one worst, Vancouver.
Sure. Yeah.
Honestly, it's the same thing as Toronto. In that it looks like you could just go to Walmart, any Walmart in Vancouver, and go, oh, look, they got Vancouver stuff. Oh, it's only $12. Cool. In season, weird.
Yeah.
But now I had two things that have put this above or worse than Toronto. I didn't notice the white thing. That actually helps with putting Toronto just a little bit above it.
Just a little bit.
But you'll notice in the picture, if you're looking at the MLS website, when you're looking at these pictures, on the bottom left-hand corner of their jersey, they have a little stitching that says Vancouver Whitecaps 50 years.
I do see that, yes.
This is their 50-year jersey, and that's what they came out with?
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Are you kidding me? Like, that made it so much worse for me that I was like, I would feel... Because I'd be excited if I was like, yo, this is our 50th season. Like, that's so cool. I wonder what our jersey's going to look like. Oh, okay. It's just solid color with a little bit of gold and a little bit of white stripe.
Yeah. Agreed. It's not good. It's not good.
Yeah, Vancouver's my worst one.
Okay.
Which is weird because I normally like simple jerseys.
You do.
I like when jerseys aren't like crazy and stuff, but this is just lazy. It's just nothing.
Agreed.
This is, like I said, this is the one you get at Walmart.
Yeah, for
$12
sure.
mid-season. That's what it is.
Totally.
All right, hit me with your last.
My worst is Toronto.
Okay.
It's just so boring.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I am a little surprised St. Louis didn't make it on either one of our lists.
Me too. If I did honorable mentions for the worst, it would definitely go on there. Because it is really boring.
Yeah,
again, the only redeeming factor is the white isn't just white. It does have that little wavy pattern to it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool looking, but yeah, no, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So,
and my only other honorable mention I had is Portland.
Really?
And it didn't make a top 5 worst, but it gets an honorable mention. And like I told you when we were first talking about them, I have a feeling if I was a Portland fan, I would love this jersey.
Right.
Because it's got the pine needles and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not a Portland fan, so I hate it.
That's okay.
It just looks kind of weird, and like, although I will say I did know exactly what it was when I saw it. So kudos to them. It's not like it looks weird, but it's not like, what is that? I knew what it was immediately. So I was like, okay, I get it, but I don't know. To me, it'll also depend on what shorts they wear with it.
Yeah, That's very true.
If they wear the same like off-white cream shorts with the pine needles like on the side, that's going to look so bad. But if they wear like a solid color short, maybe it would look okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't maybe flip it like a green short with white pine needle kind of thing, so that way it's the same design, but it flips the colors. But
maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't agree. I think it's a good looking jersey.
Fair enough. It's probably more my hatred for Portland that
probably.
It's called the Nature Unites kit, which
it is.
I think is okay.
The Natures unites us.
Yeah, that's on the back collar. I'm trying to find. Yeah, none of their release pictures show the shorts. At least not on MLS. It's probably on Portland's website, but I'm not going there.
The website I'm looking at, like, put in all of like any social links of any that we've seen, and they don't have a social link on this one. So I don't think there's anything extra yet.
Fair enough.
So, all right, you want to move on to the top 5?
Let's do it. You go first this time.
That's fair. My number 5, when I first saw it, I thought it was really boring. But then the more I looked at it, the more I realized that it is really a spectacular looking jersey, especially for how boring it is on its core. NYCFC, like, that's a clean looking jersey.
Yeah.
It is crisp. It is classy. That black and those vibrant colors, like, it just looks really good. So... And I love all black jerseys, so
I do too.
I'm all for it. I love it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. In this particular one, I'll come back to this one in a minute. But since we're talking about it, the logo actually plays in pretty well to it. I think like it fits pretty nicely. Again, I don't care what the sponsor is, but like the logo of the sponsor, it kind of fits in pretty well.
Agreed.
I don't know. I just think it's a great jersey. It's really clean.
I think it's good.
Okay, my number 5, sticking in New York, New York Red Bulls. Number 5.
Okay.
I like this one, which is weird for me. It really is
too.
because this is not the kind of jersey that I normally like.
Yes,
but I will say, despite it appeering very random, it's very much not. Like, this is patterned.
Yes.
You can tell, like, the middle stripe on the left bull and then the one right behind the right bull is the exact same, and it like just alternates. So there is some pattern to it, which I think helps my brain look at it. Whereas, like, one of my least favorite jerseys that I've ever seen in my entire life was USA's red and blue paint, stupid looking one, because there was no rhyme or reason to it. This one I just feel like has a little bit of rhyme to it.
That's fair.
And in the rare exception, this sponsor's just so cool with the logo and everything too. Like, the logo for the sponsor's cool, and their sponsor's cool. Plus, it's in their name,
right?
So, like, I think it's cool. So this number 5 for me. I like it.
I like that. I like that pick. My number 4. I'm actually going to Portland.
Interesting.
I loved Portland's. I thought it was really cool. I don't know. There's just something about how different it is from the norm. I mean, Portland's brand has always been super cool. Like, as much as I hate Portland, their brand is just really cool. And so how well they've like adopted that and how well they've leaned into it, I think it's super cool. So I love the uniqueness of this kit. It is very different from anything we've ever seen. I'm all for it. So.
All right, I don't hate that. And honestly, I think if I were just to remove my bias for how much I hate Portland, it would probably bring their jersey up a little bit for me.
Probably.
I don't know if it would quite crack top 5.
Yeah, that's fair.
It would probably be up there.
Okay, that's okay. We can understand that it's bias and move on.
Yeah, and I can 100% admit that it's bias. I just hate Portland. I hate Portland. I can't. Seattle's never going to get a top 5 for me. That's not true. I do like lime green, so they could. Just simply because of their colors.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just no thanks.
Okay. All right. What's your number 4?
My number 4. I don't think you're gonna like this one.
Okay.
My number 4 is Philly.
No, I like Philly.
Oh, you do? I don't know why I thought you weren't gonna like that one, but
I don't. I think it had to grow on me for a minute, but I do like it.
Fair enough.
It is very simple and clean looking.
Love it. I just love it. I love the logo in the middle.
Uh-huh.
It's hilarious that it says Bimbo.
It does. It is very funny that it says Bimbo.
I love that they made the Adidas logo gold in the middle. Or that might be more yellow. I guess you can't really tell from just the pictures. But
I think it's gold because if you I think it's gold. I think it is.
I think it's gold too. But
yeah.
I don't know. Just that center stripe down the middle. I just think it looks good.
Mm-hmm.
It honestly, weirdly enough, makes me wish that Philadelphia had won a title at some point, so they'd have that one star in the middle.
Right.
That would just look so cool. Like
that
if this
look
was
good.
If they had won last year and this was their gold star jersey, their one gold star jersey.
Right.
So cool. That would be so cool.
The only issue I have is honestly the team logo in the center of the chest it's because it's on the pattern. I don't love it because it is hard to see the logo. It kind of blends into the pattern a little bit.
I do think it would be just the only thing. That's what I was going to say. The only thing that I think that would make it just a little better is if the Philadelphia logo, their actual crest, was bigger. If it was bigger, it'd be a little easier to see.
Yeah, maybe if it is big enough where it extends on past the edge of the center pattern, that would probably help. Yeah.
Yeah. And like the Inter Miami, their logo is pretty big. Their crest is pretty big on theirs. If Philly had made theirs kind of that big, then I think it would have been just a little better. But
yeah, you're probably right.
That's a tough jersey. I like that one a lot.
It is. It's good. It's good. I don't hate it.
All right, your number 4?
My number 3.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
My number 3, we're going through the teams we hate. Mine's going to RSL.
Okay.
I think that is a super cool looking kit. They took a big swing on it. Like, mountains aren't as much of like part of the state's identity, but it is. I know it's still a big part of the state identity in Utah. But I love the design. I think it looks cool the way they incorporated their colors into it. Some of the fan service things on it, some of those little details. I think it looks really good. That with the yellow accent, the way that they incorporated the kit sponsor, I think it all looks really good. So I'm all for it. I love that one.
Yeah, I don't hate that one either. And in all honesty, I meant to say this at the beginning, but I forgot. In all honesty, picking a top 5 favorite was hard.
Yes,
because
100%.
There weren't, honestly, even picking a bottom 5 was hard. Like,
yeah.
If I'm being totally honest, like I said, my number 5 most boring was Colorado. If I was a Rapids fan, I would buy this jersey.
Right.
Like, I still like it. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and I think they could have done more.
Well, and probably what we should have done is we should have gone through and just ranked them all like 1 through 10 because there's a lot, like, it's kind of like there's two very big disparity or two big gaps between the really bad and the really good ones.
Yeah.
You've got a couple that live in the middle, but the most of them are either really boring or they're really great.
Yeah,
there's
but even
not a lot of
some
in
of
between.
the boring ones, like what was one of the other ones that I had considered here? I'm flipping through. I'm trying to find the one I'm thinking of. Montreal, kind of boring, but at the same time, I don't hate it. Like look, they did do the stripe, the off-center stripe that runs through the crest. They've got the dual colors on the sleeve stripe that just kind of like. There's a couple. I don't know. It's a weird year where like I look at these jerseys and I'm like, there's really only 3 or 4 probably that I would actually say I hate those jerseys. And that's why even my 5th on the bottom 5 was Colorado, and I'm like, I actually like this jersey, but
agreed. LA Galaxy was the one for me where I was like, this one looks really boring, but it incorporates their sash design into it, and I'm like, I don't hate it.
Yeah. I'm bored with LAFC's jersey, but at the same time, it's a kind of a cool looking jersey. I'm just bored with it because it's the same thing they do every year.
Right.
I like that they put the shoulder-to-shoulder thing on there. That's like they're saying that's cool. It's an homage to their fan base. That's cool.
Yep, I agree with that.
I'm just bored with it because it's the same jersey they always come out with.
Right.
But then I'm like, but it's not going to be in a bottom 5. I still like the jersey. So this is a weird year because it was really hard to do the rankings.
Yeah, we probably should have just gone through all of them and just ranked them 1 through 10.
Yeah, we should have tiered them. I was afraid of that because so Cavincio put out a video where he did that.
Oh, okay.
He did them tiers like S tier through F tier or whatever it was, but it was like an hour and 45-minute video, and I was like, we don't want to be at an hour and 45 minutes just talking about jerseys because we easily could.
Yeah, I mean, we are already like a good half hour, so we're definitely
we're at 30 minutes, and we haven't
we're
even
definitely
talked about
cooking.
sporting yet. So,
Yeah. All right. Well, that's my number 3. It's time for your number 3.
My number 3 is NYCFC.
Okay. Yeah.
I love that jersey. That jersey is so cool.
It's good.
If I was into buying jerseys that weren't sporting, absolutely fire it this way. I love black jerseys too. DC United, another good. I picked NYCFC because it's my favorite black jersey, but I'm kind of putting all of these black jerseys like in the same little level.
That's totally understandable.
Like DC United is another one that fits right in there. That jersey is cool.
Yeah, it's a good looking jersey.
I would put Houston's in the same level. I realize it's purple. It's not black. But it's just solid purple with a little bit of accents, so it kind of fits in the same.
I didn't like Houston's, especially because purple's not their color. That's Orlando's, so that's a little confusing.
That is a good point, but I gave it to him because I like when teams have a kit that is not their normal color.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I just hate all orange jerseys. They look so dumb. So for them to come out with something else that's not just bright orange, I'm like, okay, cool.
Right.
That's
fair. But that being said, they did steal Orlando's color, but they did make a better jersey than Orlando's ever made. So
true. That's true. Orlando's jersey this year is not bad. I like a white jersey too. But
yeah. I like I mean, sometimes you got to do a white jersey, but
not Toronto.
I don't know.
That's not what I'm talking about.
No.
When I say white jersey, I don't mean just white. Just a white T-shirt. That's not what I'm talking about.
All right, exactly.
All right, hit me with your number 2.
My number 2, hashtag controversial, maybe Seattle.
Ooh.
Man, I hated Seattle's when I first looked at it, but then I started to look at it and I'm like, I don't hate it. And then I started to look at it more and I'm like, man, I kind of really like this. And then I started to look at it again and I'm like, man, this might be one of the better kits I've ever seen in MLS because it is really good. The only reason that it finished number 2 is it is a lot of color and it's just very like bam. So you gotta really embrace the green, which I know Seattle does. But they're my number 2, and with their new rebranded crest, I think it looks cool. It's a nice simple crest. And I don't know if you knew this. This is also their 50th year kit.
I didn't know that. No.
Yep, it's the anniversary kit.
All that does is prove my point. When your team's in their 50th year, this is the jersey you want. Not
for sure.
Just a plain navy blue, nothing on it. That's
you do
what
something
you want.
cool.
Yeah. I don't hate this Seattle jersey. Like you said, the more I look at it, the reason it didn't make my top 5, you can't read it.
That's very true.
You can't, I can read the picture that says Providence, but if you just walked by me wearing that jersey, I have no idea what that says.
That's valid.
I love their new logo. I think it's great.
Yes.
But if you look at the close-up of their logo, it's the same pattern as the jersey. Almost.
It is.
But it doesn't quite match, and that drives me nuts. That they have basically the same pattern in the crest and the jersey, but it doesn't match. That drives me nuts.
That's understandable. I could see why that would be frustrating.
And when I saw a launch photo, I didn't go back and look again. I should have. But I think I saw one of their players that were wearing this jersey, and they were wearing white shorts with it.
So they're wearing blue shorts with it.
Oh, thank God. I was like, if they're going to wear white shorts with this, that is going to look awful.
No.
That's
they're wearing blue shorts that look like the blue from the kit.
Okay. That is better then.
Yes.
I also kind of wish they would have stuck with the darker blue that they've used in the past versus this kind of lighter blue.
I agree.
I could have royal blue. I could have seen them looked a little better. But I don't hate this kit.
No. Cool.
Except for the logo, the pattern in the logo and the pattern on the jersey clash, and that it drives me nuts. But
that's fair.
Not a bad kit. Not a bad kit.
All right, your number 2.
My number 2 goes to the Wizards of Sporting Kansas City.
That's fair.
Finally, they make a kit That is awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And if I'm
Yeah.
being totally honest, this would be my number one kit if it wasn't for the god-awful phrase they put out with it.
It is pretty bad.
Diamonds Hour Forever is stupid.
It's really bad.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
They could have just, and they did, when they first, well, I assume you watched the launch video, which, by the way, was cool. The whole vault
It was
thing,
a good video.
that was cool.
Yeah, that was
But
really
then they
cool.
pull the thing out, and it says Diamonds Are Forever.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, what a cool phrase. Oh. And then they changed it to Hour Forever. And I'm like, nope, should have just went with Diamonds Are Forever, and it would have been fine.
Yes.
But
if they would have stuck with the Diamonds Are Forever, it would have been fine.
Yeah, I hate that phrase. It doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's grammatically not correct because there's no comma. But obviously you can't put a well, you can. You could totally put, it's not on the jersey. Put a comma in the phrase and it would make sense because you're saying Diamonds Are Our Forever. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But they just shouldn't have done that. It was a miss of a name for sure.
I hate it. But the jersey,
It's a good kit.
I love it. It's not Argyle in the sense that I thought we were going to get. I shouldn't say thought. I had nothing based around that. What I hoped we were going to get.
Right.
When they said Argyle was coming back.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping for the real Argyle across the chest, that black with that light blue jersey that will forever be the best jersey we've ever had. I don't think anyone will ever beat it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do love the 3-diamond look.
It does look really good.
I like it. It's tattooed on me, so
Yeah,
I can't
like
hate it. I love it. It's great.
It's a good.
I love this
kit.
jersey. I love the color.
Yeah, it's a nice. The colors are real nice. When I first looked at it, I wasn't sure, but the colors are nice.
Yeah, I love the lighter blue with the darker blue diamonds. I love that they put the SKC in the neck, the SKC diamond, so you know where it came from. And then in case you didn't know, you're like, oh, yeah, I've seen that logo before. Yep. I love this jersey. The only thing missing is a pretty low gold star right above the other two. That's the only thing we need on there. So
we'll see what we can do.
That's my number 2.
All right. My number 1. So what I should have probably prefaced this list with is I guess I just assumed we weren't going to include sporting.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I kind of thought about that, but I was like, no, you know what? They earned a top 5. That jersey's cool. Even objectively, that jersey's cool.
So my whole top 5 was predicated on the fact that obviously this is the best kit on the whole release because we're super biased. So my number 1 goes to New York Red Bulls.
Okay.
That is with the caveat of I think our jersey looks better than New York Red Bulls. Okay. But if we take that out, for all the reasons we already discussed, I think New York Red Bulls kit looks fire. I think it looks awesome.
Yeah, it is cool.
So
it's a cool one. It's a fun. There's a lot of things. I don't even know if they actually went this way with it, but when I saw it, I thought of like a bull. Mm-hmm. Causing like a commotion, and that's what the zigzags are. I had no idea if that's what it actually is, but it made me think that, and I appreciate when jerseys make me think things, whether they're right or wrong. I just think it's cool to be able to put out like a design and like people can just think stuff. I think that's a cool thing to be able to do with just a jersey. So
for sure, no, I think it looks great. I think it's the second best kit in this drop for sure.
Yeah.
All right, what's your number 1?
My number 1 is the Starry Night jersey from Minnesota United.
Such a terrible kit.
That is the coolest jersey I have ever seen.
It's so bad.
Like, it's space. It's stars, and the blue is stardust, is what you're seeing.
Yes.
Like, I don't know how any... And also, to prove my point, since we had this text conversation, I've shown this jersey to 5 people. And all 5 of them were like, yo, that is cool. And none of them are from Minnesota, just to be fair.
Okay.
They're like, it is cool. They're also wearing shorts that also have stars on them. It's just cool.
Sure.
Like, I just think this jersey's so cool.
Nah. I cannot disagree more. I think it looks awful.
It's the only jersey that Minnesota's ever put out for me that the target in the middle doesn't make me want to die. Because it does kind of fit because it's white. And they put it in the right spot. I wish they'd just do the word or something. It's so I don't get it, but I love this jersey. I think it's awesome.
Well, Okay, if you say so.
That's my numero uno.
All right. Do you have any honorable mentions?
I have one.
Okay. Hit me.
Atlanta.
Sure.
Atlanta's jersey is cool. It's got a phoenix on it. That is super cool. This is the only jersey other than Minnesota United where I will 100% judge them on their sponsor.
Yeah. That's fair.
Get that American family out of here. We got to get a farmer's logo up on there for those of you who don't know. I work for farmers, so I don't like this whole American family nonsense on there.
Well, I'm okay with it. Like I don't love it. I don't hate it. It kind of middle of the road for me.
Fair enough.
But like you said, this was a really hard list to pick. So honestly, I have a ton of honorable mentions.
Sure, go ahead.
So I'm just going to rapid fire them.
Yeah, run through them.
They got DC United, Colorado Rapids, Philly, Charlotte's, and Colorado's.
Charlotte's is interesting. I think I probably would have liked it more if I had researched what it meant. I didn't. I still haven't, but
I don't think it is.
I just wonder if there's some. It's called the Carolina kit,
right?
So I just feel like there's got to be some explanation behind it. Maybe there's not, and if there's not, then I'm not going to like it that much. But
the only miss is that they're wearing white shorts.
Oh,
they needed the blue shorts.
Yeah.
If they had done the blue shorts, so the gradient, or do the gradient in the opposite direction.
That'd be cool. Or dark. I can't. This picture, it looks like it has black on the edges. Is this black, or is that like a real dark navy blue?
Maybe it's dark navy blue. I can't tell.
If it were dark navy blue, that color, whatever that color is that's on the trim, if it's black or dark navy blue, that would look cool.
That may have been okay. But yeah, the white shorts are a miss. But I think it's a really good miss, or a really good kit. I think it looks neat. So,
all right.
But those are my honorable mentions.
Love it.
I love it.
All right. I think we should talk about sporting.
I think we should as well.
41 minutes in. But before we do, we got to remind everybody to head over to Twitter, PTW_pod on Twitter. Give us a follow. Also, you're going to want to check out YouTube, which if you're already watching us on the video, you're already watching us on YouTube.
Right.
Also, on Facebook, Paint the Wall Podcast is our Facebook. paintthewallpodcast@gmail.com is our Gmail.
This is Steve forgetting to look this up beforehand.
Yeah, 100%. I want to make sure, because I remember that it's been a minute. Who cares? Yeah, those are what we need to plug. PTW_pod on Twitter is really the main one because we are on Twitter a lot. So
yeah, that's the big one.
Anyway, all right, let's jump in.
Let's do it.
To Sporting Kansas City, our beloved Wizards.
Let's do it.
I think what we should just start with, if you want to run down some of our new acquisitions.
Yeah.
Some of the new players that we added. You know, it won't take long. So if you want to do that real quick.
For sure. Great. Yeah. So 4 main additional signings. We've got 24-year-old left back Zorhan Basong, 28-year-old midfielder Memo Rodriguez. 20-year-old forward Alinas Vargas, who we signed from just a free acquisition. No, sorry, that was a transfer. The other 2 were free acquisitions. And then the last one is our super draft signee, 21-year-old goalkeeper Ryan Shiu. I'm guessing it's pronounced. I haven't heard it said yet. So
I haven't either. I'm going with Shui.
Shui.
Because I just like that. Sure. I don't know if that's right, but I like it.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, so that's it. We notably have not signed our third DP slot, which tells me at this point we're not going to until the summer transfer window, just because. Antoine Griezmann. I thought you were going for Mbappe now.
I did see that has been rumored that Mbappe could come to Sporting.
There's absolutely no way that happens.
No, not at all. But that'd be cool.
Man is the best player in the world right now.
Yeah, there's no way he's coming to Sporting. But I said the same thing about Messi. I'm just saying.
Well,
we didn't think that
wrong
would happen either.
Messi.
But also, Messi was a lot older.
Also,
Mbappe
liar.
Younger, so.
I knew exactly that was going to happen. I called it 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I think we're gonna. I mean, the summer transfer window makes more sense. That's when all of the European players coming out of their contracts. The season's over there. Makes a little more sense that we can probably get a big name there. So, I think that's probably what we're waiting for. If I had to guess.
Fair enough.
But that's it.
I would agree. I will say, I don't know. I meant to send you this the other day, but this was Griezmann when he walked into his game the other day.
Ooh.
And since you're watching on YouTube, you can also see this. He walked in wearing his big Chiefs hat. He's a big Kansas City guy.
He is.
I'm mostly kidding. I don't necessarily think it's going to happen.
Right.
But he has a lot of ties to Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes in particular, who's an owner of Sporting. So
he does. I agree with that.
And Patrick makes stuff happen in that city, I tell you.
Yeah. It's never going to happen, though.
I know. It's going to be expensive if it does, but I don't know. We can dream, right? We need a midfielder, so
we do. It would be great.
So who knows? All right. Well, thank you for that. Yep. I have a couple things, and then I think we just kind of go through our lineup.
Sure.
Like work our way from the back to the front.
Yep.
And then we can see who we think is going to be in our starting lineup. I have a feeling we probably will have the same starting lineup. So
yeah, I would be surprised if we didn't.
One thing of note, Shallowy, our new number 10. How about that? That's cool. It was Gotti, who, of course, never wore it on the field, apparently. So that was kind of a weird, like, they announced that, and then he got injured, and then he came back, but then he, like, never played. So it's just like, okay, well, that was a waste.
Yeah.
Moves over to Shallowy. I like that. That'll work. One thing, I have two things to note here that I want to make sure I mention from preseason.
Okay.
Our preseason was pretty interesting. I didn't follow it as closely as I wanted to because, honestly, it snuck up on me pretty quickly.
It did.
But the two overwhelming things that I really kind of noticed is that Willie Agata has been insanely good this preseason.
He's been cooking.
And Felipe Hernandez has got a ton of playing time.
He did get a lot of playing time.
Which makes me so excited. So excited.
Yes, me as well. I think that largely comes down to we have like 3.5 midfielders. So that's probably more why he's getting a ton of playing time, but I'm all for it.
Yeah. I think that's going to be good. All right, that's all I had, really, notes that I wanted to talk about preseason.
Sure.
Preseason is preseason. It's really about form. Nobody cares. I didn't even bother to look up what our record was because I don't care. I don't care what our record was.
You're just working players.
Agata scored a bunch of goals. He had 2 penalty kicks in the last game. I know that. And we had a come from behind win against Atlanta. That's cool.
You're working the guys who don't get a lot of time. You're seeing what they got. That's all you're doing. You're playing formations. Like,
it's getting match fit is what we're doing. We're trying to get match fit before this weekend.
Yep.
Basically what it is. So.
Yep. 100%.
All right. Well, I'm going to start in the back in the goal.
Do it.
Mili's in goal. All right. Cool. We can move on. We're
Yep.
good. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Right now, same back line as last year. We did add Basong and Ndembe. Basong for Ndembe while he's injured.
Right.
I forgot to look up. I should have looked up how long Ndembe is expected to be out. I presume it's not the whole season, though.
I think it's the whole season.
Is it really? What was his injury again?
It was an ACL. Yeah.
Right, but he did it towards the end of last year, so like maybe he's
he did
back
it
for
in the playoffs,
but he's not gonna.
I don't see him back.
Coming back.
No, I think he's out for the season.
Yeah, probably because they're not going to bring him back just for playoffs. He's not going to be match fit. There's no way.
Right. I would be surprised.
Yeah, that would suck. Hopefully we're wrong, and hopefully he can make it back. Aaron Rodgers almost played this year, and he tore his Achilles. So
he did.
Stranger things have happened. Well, I guess that didn't actually happen, but it got really close to happening. So
that's what the rumor was.
He was out, at practice, like running around and like doing drills. So that's impressive in and of itself. Yeah. Of course, that's a long way from playing a game. I get that. So
yeah, for sure.
I've liked how Basong has looked in the little bits of video that I've seen from preseason. I think he'll fit in pretty nicely. So
agreed. Let's see. Are we talking our starting 11 yet, or are we just going over the positions?
We can just go through our lineup as we get through it if you want.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead. Who's your starting?
Leibold. Basong needs a little bit more time to acclimate. I think. We know that Peter doesn't like to bring in new people, especially not straight away. So I think Leibold until we get a bit more of a picture of what Basong looks like.
Yep. I agree. Exact same thing. Center backs, Rosero and Fontas.
Yeah.
It's not going to change. Volader is another year older. That helps. Castellanos looked good in the playoffs, surprisingly.
He did.
So maybe we'll probably see them a little bit here and there, especially at the beginning of the year.
Maybe.
We just have to hope that we get playoff back four, specifically center backs.
Right.
We have 100%. To get those playoff center backs. If we get those, we're going to be fine because those guys are lights out in the playoffs.
100%.
So
totally agree.
I have confidence that it's there. Also, Fontas, I have plenty of confidence that he has the talent there. He got gypped on Defensive Player of the Year like 2 years ago.
Right.
So,
but it's his stinking collapse last year. I don't know what happened. So he's got to figure it out.
I don't like it either. But the thing that makes me feel a little bit better about it is that their best play was at the end. It was the most recent soccer that we had. So hopefully they can just pick up from there, and the beginning, the entire of regular season last year will just be. It didn't happen. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So
that's fair. Hopefully, I hope it's right.
Jake Davis on right back.
Yeah, Jake Davis.
Yeah. Caden Pierre, I want to mention, he did get a lot of work in preseason, and I think somebody's got to. Jake Davis is not going 90 minutes for 30 games. What do we play? 30-some games? Whatever we play?
34 games.
34 games. He's not playing 90 minutes for 34 games. It's not happening.
He's
still only like 22.
He did it last year.
He came out. He didn't play every single game.
But he really did a lot of work.
Yeah, he did. That's true.
So I don't know. Maybe the kid's got it.
Yeah, true. Maybe. But I wouldn't be opposed to seeing some Caden Pierre back there. So,
I got no problem with it.
Won't be Kyrie. I will say it is worth noting that I did notice Jake Davis is still listed as a midfielder on our roster.
Mm-hmm. He is.
That's interesting. I wonder if that's on purpose.
Maybe.
Because they updated the roster.
They did.
Like Basong is in there. All of the other new guys that we signed are all in there. Afrifa finally has a picture in there. So, those are updated rosters, and he is listed as a midfielder.
Yeah, I don't think that's anything to look into. I think he'll just always be listed as a midfielder.
Yeah, maybe. But, I don't know. Maybe Caden Pierre plays really well, and we see Jake Davis at midfield some, too.
Maybe
they switch out. I don't know.
Who knows?
Speaking of midfield, you good to move on to midfield, or you got any more on defense?
Now let's do it.
Okay. I'm going to start right with my starting lineup.
Okay.
Simply because I think it's the exact same as last year.
Okay, go for it.
Voltaire, Radoya, Tommy.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason to believe that the primary
right.
Starting lineup will be any different. Obviously, we'll have some games. Tommy will need some rest. Voltaire never rests ever. So he won't
and
ever.
maybe Memo shows up and kills it, and he takes over a spot from probably Voltaire.
So my opinion on Memo is I think he's going to get a lot of playing time.
Right.
I think he's going to be a good addition.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's filling in for Gotti. Truly
Agreed.
filling in for Gotti,
yes.
in that I think he's going to flip-flop with Tommy like Gotti did.
Okay.
Maybe occasionally Voltaire if we need, like if we're behind in a game and we need attacking and we want to leave Tommy and I almost said Gotti, Tommy and Memo on, but it would have been those times when we did have Tommy and Gotti on.
Right.
Then he probably comes in for, actually, in my mind, he comes in for Radoya and Voltaire slides back. If Voltaire plays like he did last year, I would never take him off the pitch for any reason ever.
That's fair.
He's just so consistent, and he's so good, and he can push forward, but he can also play that CDM. So I think probably he comes in for Radoya, but at the same time, Radoya's got another season, another off season, more time with us under his belt now. So who knows? Our midfield could accidentally end up being pretty good.
Yeah, I think they have the potential to be really good. Especially, I do think if we go and we get a summer signing, I do think it's a midfielder. Maybe it's a center back, but I doubt it. I think the way that Peter plays and looking at the number of players we have, we only have 6 midfielders. So I think just from a depth perspective, I think we need a midfielder. So
Yeah.
I think if we can get a big summer signing. We spend $5 million on a midfielder, which for this team is a pretty good chunk of change.
Mm-hmm.
That could build a really good midfield. We could be pretty sneaky. I think they're good enough, but once we start getting into subs, that's when it kind of starts to fall apart.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Which historically, Peter doesn't like to sub too much, so
that's true. So I guess
may
that's
not
not
even
much of a
be a
problem.
But I do think that this is the season where we finally see a lot of Felipe.
I hope so.
And I also hope so, but I do genuinely think so. But I just really hope so. I think he's such a good player, and he's so underused that I just think we have to eventually put him out there, or we're gonna lose him. He's gonna eventually get sick of it and want to go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, you got to think so.
I think this is a season where we see a lot of him.
I hope so.
And yeah, again, Memo, I think will be a integral part. I think he's going to be the main one that fills in for Gotti. And
you're
plays
probably
like
right.
Gotti, except for he's not going to be injured for the first half of the season. So we can start using him like we do with Gotti right away.
Right, for sure.
Quick thing that I want to ask you on our midfielders.
Okay.
I want to get an over-under for appearances.
Okay.
I just want to know if you'll take the over or the under, okay?
Okay.
On 2 players. Danny Flores, over-under 1.5 appearances on the season. Appearances, not starts. Appearances. Under on 1.5.
Yeah.
So you think
yes.
1 appearance is all he's getting?
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Okay.
No, probably 0 if I'm picking a number.
Okay. I also would take the under on him for the record.
Okay. Yeah.
Ozzy Cisneros, I'm putting the over-under at 2.5.
You didn't have to say what the over-under was. It's under.
Fair enough.
As long as it was 0.5, I'm taking the under.
I'm honestly tempted to take the over on this one, mostly because it's 3, so 3 appearances, and like the season starts Saturday, so like I think we're gonna have a lot of flipping around going on at the beginning.
Maybe. I don't think we see him.
The main reason I think Ozzy Cisneros has a better chance of playing than Danny Flores, which means I'll be wrong, and that'll be the exact opposite.
Right, for sure. That means Danny Flores is starting week 1.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think you're right. I'd probably take the under on that too. But that's a shame. But whatever.
Right.
We got some youth. They're never going to play, but we've got them.
We got them. They're there.
All right. Forward to me is where it really starts to get kind of interesting.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
What? Sorry, it cut out for a second. What did you say?
There, but I think we're caught back up now. We're caught back up.
Okay.
Yeah, forward to me is where it really gets interesting.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think it's probably going to be the same starting lineup.
Yeah.
Russell, Polito, Shallowy. However,
100%.
Russell's not 100%.
No, but he hasn't for like 7 years.
That's true. But I think we're going to get a lot of Willie Agata. Like a lot.
Maybe.
Including lots of starts. Including at the beginning. I would not be shocked if Willie Agata is starting in place of Johnny Russell on Saturday. I don't think Johnny Russell starts on Saturday.
Maybe on Saturday. I don't think so, though. I think it's Johnny. I think he cares way too much about being on the pitch. I don't think he's ever going to be healthy again because the man's old.
That's a good point.
I think it's Johnny Polito Shallowy, and I think there is no way that Agata starts more than 10 games this season if he's lucky.
Fair enough.
Polito's our golden boot. He's our $10 million man. If he's not starting... Well, no, he's a golden boot winner last year, and that's only playing half the season.
Well, he didn't win a golden boot last year.
He was our golden boot winner.
Oh, yeah, I got you. I was like, he didn't win a golden boot. I was like, he didn't have that many goals.
No, he was our golden boot winner, and he had a hell of a couple months. Like, obviously, like when this guy is on, which we're seeing more and more of that, he's on fire. So for me, I don't think we see any more of Agata than we saw last year. Well, okay, we see him a little bit more because he was injured last year, but
yeah.
I think He comes on as a substitute. He starts a handful of games to help with load management, but that's about it. I agree that he's a really good player and he's a really, really good substitute to have, but I don't see him replacing Polito as like heavy minutes.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. I just think we're going to see a lot of him, but we'll see. But also, we've got Afrifa and Vargas, who have both been really good in preseason and gotten a ton of preseason time and scored a lot of goals in preseason.
Right. They have.
So I bet we will actually see them a little bit. I think we see Afrifa a little bit more than Vargas.
Maybe.
But I wouldn't be surprised if we see them a little bit, especially, again, because you're right. Johnny's never 100%, probably never will be again. But I don't know. It's a little more concerning to me that he's coming into the season already not at 100%.
Right.
So, like, last year, at least he came in kind of 100% and then took a couple knocks and then it kind of went downhill. Like, he's not even starting at 100%. So,
right.
like, that's not a great sign, I don't think.
Right. That's fair.
I think we need to see more from Shallowy this year.
Agreed.
If we get a lot of what we got at the beginning of the year for Shallowy last year, give me Agata over Shallowy, or give me a Afrifa over Shallowy.
Right. That's very true.
Shallowy just didn't do anything for a lot of games last year. So
right.
I think
100%.
There's got to be more pressure on that if Afrifa is really looking good, or Agata, or put Polito over. I don't care. We have a lot of options that we could move around. Honestly, Agata on a wing is probably not a great idea. He's more more of a target. He's a true like 9, forward attacking. So that makes sense. But Polito can play wing. Polito plays wing half the game anyway.
That's true.
So they switch around so much that throw Polito over at left wing. He'll be fine. Or put him at mid. Honestly.
Yeah.
Like let Tommy play left wing and put Polito at mid. They'll never do any of this, but he plays like a mid anyway.
Sometimes he is a target man. Like he does love to get the ball and shoot.
Sure.
He doesn't like to set up much.
Yeah. But he's also back on defense every single time the other team comes back. I can't remember the last time I saw him stop at midfield and wait.
That's true.
Agata does that every time, unless it's last 2 minutes and they're pushing hard, then he comes back on defense. But Agata doesn't go behind the midfield, which is fine. That's what he does. That's what he's there for.
That's what a striker does.
Yeah. So I'm like, if we really need it and Shallowy's not producing and Russell's injured and we have to do that kind of stuff, give me a Tommy Polito Agata front line for a game if we need it. If they're not, if we get the Shallowy we got at the beginning of last year.
No, I'm totally not opposed to that. I just don't see it happening where we're that injured to the point where we're seeing consistent Agata.
Yeah.
I just don't see that happening. But I could see him playing a lot, yeah.
Fair enough. I have a few other notes on this season, this roster, really, our team. I do think without a doubt this roster is worse than last year.
Agreed.
It's not better. We lost Gotti. That was a huge loss. We replaced him with Memo, but Memo's not Gotti.
No.
And then everybody else just got older.
Agreed.
That's all that happened. We got older, and we signed a different goalkeeper who's also never going to play.
Right.
So, I think this roster is worse, but it is still good on paper. Just like last year, our paper, our team on paper last year was supposed to be so good, and they were at the end.
Right.
So we got that team at the end, or from May on, I guess. No center back signing is disheartening.
Yes,
really thought we'd get even if they weren't going to be a starter over Rosero and Fontas. Fine,
right?
But
we needed
just
something.
Need another depth there, unless Volodare really did take a big step in preseason, and him getting a year older helped. He is very young, so eventually he's going to hit that where he gets older and he gets bigger, and he hits that. Maybe that happened, and we just don't know yet.
Right? Maybe it did. But I struggle to see him actively participating. I just don't think he's there.
Yeah. I don't either. I think he will play because we don't have another choice.
Right.
Especially at the beginning of the year. Fontas and Rosero are not going They're not going to play the whole game. I doubt it. Maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe they will.
Right.
But they are
Maybe.
both veterans, so maybe they could. I could see that more than I would see Jake Davis playing all 90 for all 34 games. Because Jake is young.
Yeah, but
those
Jake
guys are
proved that
older.
he can do it. That's the thing.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, maybe he will. Maybe he will.
Yeah. I don't know.
The only other note I really had is on paper we should score a ton of goals. We really should.
Yeah. Agreed.
Because our attack from midfield all the way through the forwards, we have such solid options everywhere, including Memo. Including Memo coming in. I know he's not
Agreed.
Gotti, but he's still good. He's still a good player.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. I think the counterpart to that is, though, we're going to concede a lot of goals, too.
Yeah, and it's really going to come down to, do we get the end of season center backs?
Right.
Because I'm honestly not super worried about the wings. Jake Davis is going to do just what Jake Davis did the entire season. I have 37 games of proof of what he's going to do.
Right, for sure.
Honestly, same with Leibold. I know Ndembe ended up winning the starter spot, but every time Leibold came in, we didn't miss a beat.
Right.
Now, Ndembe was something special at the beginning of the playoffs, so he stepped up, but Leibold was great. I don't think we're really missing a whole lot dropping down to Leibold.
No, I agree.
It's really going to come down to the center backs. Which center backs do we get?
For sure.
So
100%.
If we get playoff center backs, I think we're going to be fine because we are going to score a lot of goals. We've still got Tim Melia in goal. That's going to help. Albeit a year older Tim Melia.
He is.
But that was only really a factor for a little bit last season. Once he got back from injury, we were like, man, he kind of looks old. And it was like, oh, he doesn't really look old anymore. And then it was like, okay, we don't need to talk about goalkeeper anymore. Yeah. He's fine. So
I mean, listen, Father Time catches up with everybody eventually. He is the only undefeated player in the league. But it sure looks like he... Yeah. But it sure looks like he's keeps fighting off Father Time. So maybe he stays, maybe we get another year of Timmy.
Yeah, which I'm fine with. He's my boy. See?
Yeah, you love Timmy.
Yeah, I just said we have to start better than we did last year. I don't think we can climb out of that big of a hole twice in a row.
No, absolutely not.
I just don't think we can. I'm shocked we did it the first time.
We got genuinely lucky.
But you what?
Yeah, we got genuinely lucky.
Yes, I don't think we can do that again, especially having a worse team.
Yes, 100%.
A worse full team, I should say.
Right.
I just don't. I don't think we can do that again.
Right.
So we just have to have a better start.
I agree, 100%.
I'm not saying we got to win all 10 games. We don't. We don't need to get to the beginning of May, and we don't have to be in the top 3 spots in the West,
right,
to make the playoffs and have a good season.
No.
If we get a little bit of a slow start, but we're scoring goals actually, and we win a game, then we lose one. Win a game, lose one. Win a game, lose one. Draw. That would be fine. We just can't. We cannot do what we did last year.
No, we cannot. We can't go 10 without winning.
No,
absolutely not.
Now that being said, I don't think we will. So I want to, and I think we both have predictions on where we think Sporting's going to finish this year.
We do.
You want me to go first, or you want to go first?
You go ahead.
So I don't think we do that again this year. I think we have a better start. I think we're going to start off. Our schedule's pretty tough at the beginning.
It is,
but I think we can. I think we're going to be okay. I still believe in Peter. It's so hard not to. It's just so. It's so hard not to.
I suppose.
And I think we're going to score goals, and that's going to help. I think our center backs are going to lean more towards playoff center backs than beginning season. I don't think they're going to be all the way at playoff, but I think they're going to lean more towards that, and that is going to help.
Right.
I've got us finishing 4th in the West.
Okay.
13 wins.
Okay.
And I'm going to go ahead and throw it out here because we're not going to cover it when we get to our playoff predictions. We lose in the conference semifinals to Seattle.
Oh, okay.
So that's where I'm at. That's what I think our season is.
Okay. Well, I have us winning 14 games.
Okay.
And I have us finishing 3rd in the West.
Okay.
I do think that I agree 100%. We're not going to come off to the same slow start we did. I think we have a really solid year of experience with the squad. It's largely unchanged. Couple people left, but for the most part, we have a really stable squad that we had last year. I think we carry that into this season, and I think we come on really strong. And I think we do really well third in the West. And I'm not going to talk about our season predictions yet.
Fair enough. Well, actually, you probably are because the next one is Western Conference Finals. So,
that's fair.
Let's just seamlessly transition into our playoff predictions for this year. Start with the West. You go ahead and go first because.
Got it.
Yeah.
I have us making the Western Conference Finals, traveling to Seattle, and us beating Seattle 3-2 in PKs.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to type these down because I like to keep them so we can go back and look.
That's right.
So you got SKC over Seattle in PKs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That I would love that, except for the in Seattle part. That would suck.
Yeah, it would be less
that
than
would be
ideal.
cool.
But
all right. Do you want to alternate, or do you want to give me all of your MLS and then I'll do mine?
I'll just do it. I'll just do it all. So
okay,
people
go ahead.
Get
Hit me with your East.
In the East, I have Cincinnati hosting Miami, and I have Cincinnati winning 4-2.
Okay. Awesome. So that makes a Cincy SKC MLS Cup final.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I see us finally getting the monkey off our back for the last 11 years. SKC beating Cincinnati 4-1. And I think this genuinely comes down to a testament of, yeah, we got worse, but our team was so talented last year. And I think we've done nothing but become more strongly bounded as a team. They're a much stronger team. They've spent a year getting, being able to play together. And I think we continue the form we got last year in the second half of the season and the playoffs, and we really build on it. I can see us going really, really deep in the playoffs.
Fair enough.
So probably wishful thinking a lot of it, but that's where I have us.
All right. Just to round out your MLS predictions, who do you got for Supporter Shield?
Supporters Shield, I have Columbus taking the Supporters Shield.
Okay.
I think they built on their championship run last year, and they take the Shield.
But don't make the finals, huh?
They do not. They get first rounded.
Interesting.
Because they get hit with the same curse that every first seed does, which is they have to play an extra bye week, and it's actually multiple bye weeks now. No, it's just the one bye week. They have to play that extra bye week. It just hurts. So
yeah, fair enough. Okay. All right. My Western Conference Finals. I have the Seattle Sounders defeating FC Dallas.
Ooh, I like
what
that.
I'm going with. I didn't do scores. I can make them up if you want, real quick.
That's okay. You don't have to.
Okay, cool.
My scores are arbitrary. They're not to be held to me in any.
Absolutely.
It's what it.
Sure.
We're predicting something that'll happen 8 months from now.
Yeah, exactly. I've got Seattle over FC Dallas. I struggled with this one simply just because I wasn't super impressed with any of the Western Conference teams' moves.
Right. I agree 100%.
I don't know. Seattle didn't score a lot of goals last year, but they had such a good defense, and they're returning that entire defense. I just have a hard time believing that they're also not going to score any goals this year. I just have a hard time believing that. So if that defense pairs with them finally scoring goals, they're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, agreed 100%.
And FC Dallas, really, honestly, same thing. They were just so young and so good, and they didn't lose anybody. They signed a couple people that are going to be helpful.
Yeah.
I just think they're going to push, but they're not quite going to get over that hump. I think they're going to make it to the conference finals and get beat by Seattle.
Yikes.
My Eastern Conference Finals include my Supporter Shield winning Columbus Crew.
Okay.
Losing
to
Atlanta United.
Oh, I like that.
I think Thiago Almada is going to go absolutely insane this year.
You think so?
They had a couple other good signings. Their team is set and ready to explode this year, I think.
They do look like they're primed. I agree.
And I think they look as good as they did in 2018 when they won the whole thing. I think they're going to explode this year, and I think they're going to find themselves in the MLS Cup beating Seattle
Ooh.
to win an MLS Cup. That is my
Wow.
prediction. Atlanta over Seattle. For the record, Miami loses in the first round. I think Miami makes the playoffs. They have 4 really good soccer players on their team.
Yeah.
And also 7 other guys.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think those 4 guys are going to get them to the playoffs, and then they're going to meet some really good teams, and they're going to get beat by Atlanta or something in the first round.
That's fair.
That's what I think is going to happen. I know it's messy. I get it. But also, I don't think he's going to play that, arguably that much this year. He's going to be out for rest, for injuries, for international duty, blah, 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 blah. And that's going to be the thing with all those other guys, too. They're all old. So I think
that's fair.
I think Miami. I was so tempted going into doing this that Miami was going to win the whole thing. But it's just the more I look at it, they spent so much money and put all their eggs in those 4 players' basket and their coach. That now, first of all, they're in a position where they have to cut money, or they're not going to make. They're not going to make it. They had to do. Actually, they may have already had to do it. It may have been by last week. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think they already had to make their cuts.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just think the rest of their team is not going to be good enough to hold them up, especially in the games when Messi doesn't play, when all those other guys don't play. So
right, that's fair.
But yeah, Atlanta over Seattle. That's what I'm looking at.
Okay.
Columbus Crew again, Supporter Shield.
Yeah,
they look good. They're gonna. I do think they get over that hump of first round exits by Supporter Shield teams.
All right.
Cool. All right, who's your? I don't know why we didn't do this earlier. Probably just to keep it all together. But who's your MVP for Kansas City?
My SKC MVP is Alan Polito. He's going to score a lot of goals. He's going to compete for the Golden Boot this year. Might get close, but I think he's going to be our best player this year for sure.
Interesting. My MVP for KC, Eric Tommy.
Yeah, that's very valid.
I think same thing from your perspective. I think he's going to score a lot of goals for a midfielder. Obviously, I don't know that he'll be in Gold Boot race, but well, actually, Golden Boot factors in assists and stuff too, doesn't it?
No,
or is that
just
MVP
just goals
that does both?
Well, MVP is the big picture. Like it's voted
true,
on.
But, either way, I think Eric Tommy's going to have a crazy year. I think he's going to have a lot of assists. I think he's going to be kind of our main guy. Truthfully, I think he's going to kind of take the reins from Johnny, who I think is going to have a not very good year.
That's fair.
I am expecting a down year from Johnny, included with probably a decent stretch, 2, 3, maybe 4 games where he doesn't play due to injury, some sort of injury, whether it's a lingering injury or something new that he sustains.
Right.
But, I am not expecting the Johnny Russell of old this season. I hope I'm wrong. And I know you're a listener, Johnny, and I'm sorry. I can't wait for you to yell in my face at the end of the year about how wrong I was. But
we are sorry.
I just can't get that feeling off my chest that we're in for a lackluster performance from Johnny this year. And I think Eric Tommy steps up.
Cool.
So that's what I'm going with. My honorable mention, by the way, Willie Agata.
Oh, I like it.
Which I know would theoretically contradict your prediction, but not necessarily, because I think they're on the field at the same time more often than we expect.
Okay.
Again, because of... Although it's probably more likely that Tommy moves up to play wing and we have Memo in there or something. But anyway.
Maybe.
All right, hit me with your league MVP.
My league MVP, my official prediction is Messi. If he is going to sit out the 3/4 of the season and do what you're kind of talking about, where you just rest a ton, then I'm going to put it back up for bonus points of Thiago Amada.
All right.
But my official prediction is I think Messi does it. Just, it's a voted position. He's going to have bias. He's the greatest player of all time. He's going to, blah, blah, blah. I think he's going to do enough where his reputation will carry over the rest of the way.
Fair enough. Sorry, I'm trying to type your thing, but my cursor keeps moving. There we go. All right, Messi for Miami. Actually, I'm erasing your Thiago Almada, and I'm not going to let you have that as a backup pick.
Oh, come on.
Nope. Because he's my MVP pick. Straight up. I'm not doing any Messi, but if Messi doesn't play, then I'm picking Thiago. Nope. Thiago Almada is my MVP this season.
Okay.
So I can't let you have that as a backup because I'm picking it straight up.
I'm not asking for him as a backup. It is an unofficial prediction of, listen, if Almada wins it, you get the win there.
Yeah.
But I want it just to be notated that I said that as well.
All right.
That's it.
I will put it in here. I'll put Thiago Almada, sorta.
Okay. That's perfect. I love it.
Yeah, I thought the obvious pick was Messi, but I don't think he's going to play enough. Now, he may score enough goals that it doesn't matter, but
right.
That's
kind of the thing is he doesn't have to have the same benchmark as everybody else,
right?
Because it's Messi,
right?
And it's a voted position, so all he has to do is have a halfway decent season and he wins.
I think Thiago Almada is going to have the kind of season that is going to make the people who vote hopefully actually look at it and be like, yeah, Messi scored a lot of goals, but he also sat out for 20 games. So, like, this kid played every game and did all this. That's a real MVP, you know? That's what I'm hoping. But
is it? Because if Messi does the same thing that Almada does in half the games, I think Messi wins it.
I don't know. I guess it just depends.
Yeah.
Also, the term of MVP does not mean you scored the most goals. That's what Golden Boot's for.
I understand that.
So Messi could win Golden Boot. He can win that all he wants.
I don't think he wins Golden Boot because he's going to have a lot of assist numbers.
Yeah,
I think he wins MVP. I just think he's going to put up the most impressive stats overall.
Yeah, he probably will. And if for no other reason, he'll get it just because he's Messi.
Right, for sure. Mm-hmm.
All right, well, this is a really short episode, but I feel like we should kick this off real quick. Let's get our recommendations, our guesses for predictions for week 1.
Yep.
We do play on Saturday. Thank God. Season's back.
Yes.
We play in Houston against Houston Dynamo, who coincidentally knocked us out of the playoffs last year. Is that on purpose?
They did.
I almost wonder.
I don't
remember when they make the schedule, but
no, it's not made. It was only made like a month ago.
Huh. So that had to be thought about at least, but
maybe.
Who knows?
But we'll have a chance for some sweet revenge.
Last year, Houston finished 4th, and they finished with a conference final loss to LAFC, who went to get their doors blown off by Columbus in the final. So yeah, what do you got?
Revenge is sweet. SKC wins 3-1.
3-1 SKC, and we all do the wave. Not really, because it's a away game, but I'm going 2-2 draw. But I think we look like a much better team.
Okay.
Than them. I think I'm not even necessarily going to say that we just give up 2 goals that we shouldn't. I think they put together 2 solid runs, get 2 goals. But we dominate the game. We look like the better team. We score 2. Okay. It ends in a 2-2 draw. And honestly, for a week 1, on the road against a team who played in the conference final last year, I'll take a 2-2 draw.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair.
That'll work. We'll see them again later in the season, maybe even in the playoffs. Let's do it.
Fair enough. All
right. Well, that's been enjoyable.
It's
nice to be back, and we're on video now, which is fun. I hope. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. All the comments maybe hate comments, and we'll decide not to do it anymore.
Which is also okay. If you hate us, tell us. Because honestly, we just like any reaction on our Twitter pages, or any sort of, reaction. We just like to,
Sure.
If you guys want to hit us up on Twitter, PTW_pod, Facebook, Paint the Wall Podcast. That's also our Gmail, paintthewallpodcast@gmail.com. Also, if you're listening on Spotify right now and you want to go check it out, go over to YouTube. It's at PTW_pod. You do have to have the @ sign, I'm pretty sure. But at PTW_pod is our YouTube page. You can watch us do this podcast and other things going forward.
Love it.
Yeah, that's all I got. Logan, as always, I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Steve.
Have a good week, everybody.
See you guys.